everybody. Customikes here. We are here at the Grand National Roadster Show in Pomona, California, with a choice of Customikes for an award that we have had created by the O'Brien truckers for a vehicle that we picked at Customikes. And we had 10 of them made in bronze and a few of them made in aluminum for my Dream Team members. And we have decided that John Saltsman is the first recipient of the Customikes Choice Award in bronze. And for me, this car has been a guiding light since I built the Mini Merc in the mid-'80s. And John was always there building this truck with his friends and family for many, many years. And I've seen it flopping with metal pieces hanging off. I've seen him wreck it and break it and fix it and primer it and add things and take away things, and you know, and I'll let him tell you a little bit of the story. But to me, this is going to be the first recipient of the Customikes Choice Award in bronze 2023. Let's see if we can get John to give us a little bit of the backstory of this thing. So here is what we got from Dennis O'Brien in bronze. And this is very personal to me. This is my choice at the Grand National Roadster Show 2023 for the recipient of the Customikes Choice Award. And yes, it does make me happy. That's why that one is on there. And John has always been a winner in my mind, because he never gave up on this truck and he's been working on it his whole life, as it seems like. So thank you, John.
Wow.
For your guidance and
what a beautiful award.
Spirit.
Wow.
And everything.
Wow.
And,
it's timeless.
Well, it's a
beautiful.
wow. Every time I see this thing, it's a wow. Your truck, this is a small token in comparison to the how you've been for the custom culture and since the 80s, right? You know, they built this car. When did you get this car?
I got it in the early 80s.
Okay.
I bought it from a customizer that is in Riverside, excuse me, Mercury John, and him and John Bowman did the original chop on the truck. And then after we got it from John, I drove it as a work truck, and I still use it as a work truck. In fact, we delivered a transmission to you. I think
right here in the seat.
Right here in the seat.
Right here.
Yep, in this truck. But anyways, my uncle said, let's go ahead and channel it. And he says, we're going to take 3 inches on it. And I said, okay, let's do it. So when we got done, I told my uncle, Bob, and Bob Saltsman, that, hey, I think my eyes are a little better than yours. I think it's just a little more than 3 inches. And it ended up being 15 and a half inches.
15 and a half inches. Look at these. Okay, I have big hands. This is my hand. And I can barely bridge. No, I can't bridge it all the way up. I'm hitting the button the wrong way. I can barely bridge the 15 inches of channel. And if you look, the seat is literally on the floor. And I still can't believe, John, that you have driven it. How many miles? Do you know how many miles?
I have no idea.
I have seen you drive cross country 5 or 6 times at least.
Yeah. Well, and there one summer I drove it 17 trips to Sacramento.
Wow.
And which from here is 500 miles.
Yeah.
And one way.
Yeah.
And we've driven it up to Washington and I don't know, you name it. And we've probably driven it there.
Yep.
But
Custom Car Revival, KKOA, all that. Let's Spectacular.
Yeah. And we've Bill Hines says if you can't drive them, why own them? Yeah. And so, and he's right. Yeah. And why you got to enjoy it while you can.
It's a car. You can fix it if it doesn't work.
It's a car. Yeah. People go, aren't you worried about a road chip? Or aren't you worried about this? I said, cars get damaged on the trailer. Yeah. And so it's always a risk, no matter what. So why not drive it?
You got that right.
And we've had a lot of fun through the years in this car.
Yeah.
Mike, Saw it for the first time, I think, in Auburn, California, at the KKOA Candy Cruise.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah.
And that week we heard about the show, and I didn't even have any seats in it. And my neighbor was throwing away some styrofoam, and we threw the styrofoam on the inside, put a blanket over it, and away we went to
That's
the
fantastic.
Sacramento cruise.
Yeah. And enjoying it the whole way.
Yeah, enjoying it the whole way.
Yeah. So would you tell us a little bit about the dash, since we have that right in front of us?
Well, this is a 1958 Etzel dash.
Okay.
We wanted a dash that would be futuristic and give it a 60s blend, and we couldn't find a better dash. A lot of people use the Chryslers and put them in the center.
Yeah.
But, I didn't want that. I wanted a dash that looked period in a truck. And look, I get blown in a truck from the factory. And but on the dash and the car, when you open the door opens here, and the dash ends here.
Yeah,
and
got the wraparound windshield.
Yeah, and putting in the truck, we had to slice the dash in the center here and weld it to the door, and to make it all work. And then the chrome pieces here, when we cut them, we just turned the good side and put it on the end, and then the cut end we just trimmed it to put against the light there. And the steering wheel was an old 60 Oldsmobile steering wheel that was broke, so I cut it down and put it in. This wheel's been in here for 30 plus years. And,
that's fantastic.
Yep. And I don't know how many miles I've driven it with this steering wheel in here.
Yeah.
But it started out as a 50s truck, but then there's so many 50s cars being built, we wanted to give it the 60s flavor.
Yeah.
And so it kind of switched the other way.
Yeah.
And the lights covers are from they're the spare light covers from the Grecian that Barris built.
Yeah.
And so we went with the 60s theme. The tail lights the fins were originally started out with a half-inch roll rod, and then we put 3/8 roll rod on the end to make the lights. And then Jim Winfield built the lenses and the housing to go around the lenses.
Wow.
And it's Canoga Park apartment when he was living in Canoga Park.
Wow. Let's go out and take a look at them. We'll see you sneak out of here.
We'll do that.
Yeah. Ooh, wait. I'm getting too old to get up, too. I still can't believe today you delivered a transmission in this truck. Okay. Just helping him get his stuff situated there.
Do that a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, to go along with that, we was at Darryl Starbird's. Bill Hines, Darryl Starbird had a 57 Brougham window, and he had some 57 Brougham parts that he gave to Bill Hines.
Yeah.
So told Darryl, let's throw it in the truck. He says, you can't put that stuff in this truck. I said, why not? It's a truck.
Yeah.
So we put the windshield and all the other stuff on the 57 Brougham and back of here, and come back from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And
it's a truck. Yeah.
And the deck lid was probably about this high off, coming all the way back.
Yeah.
You know, with all the stuff what's in the truck. But it's a truck.
So what are the tonneau cover made of? Is it an actual trunk, or what? How do you guys make that?
This is a 59 Chevy Impala. I was behind a El Camino, and you know how they have that little ridge going down there? So I went home and took a piece of welding rod and went like that, and I go, if I'm going to do it, I got to go all the way. Yeah. When I got this trunk lid, I didn't realize that we created a lot more work, because the 59, when it turns, it don't just turn and go down, it dips in like a V. So when I set it on, it was too long, too wide and too short. So we had to add, I think it was like a foot in here.
Yeah.
And then we had to shorten it. And then I had to slice the back here and push it in. Because originally I just had a flat cover here and this just came up.
Yeah, this looks so much better.
Yeah.
I remember when it was flat.
Yeah, you remember when it was flat.
Yep.
Right.
For sure.
And originally I was going to use a Pontiac split bumper setup.
Yeah.
But everybody does that. And so I decided to build our own. These are 58 Dodge front turn signal grill bars.
Wow.
And
so cool.
we turn them into parking light.
Yeah.
Originally I was going to do exhaust, but I turned them into parking lights. Now these ridges in here are only on a Crown Royale. So if you didn't have a Crown Royale, this is all smooth like this.
Okay.
The tail light lenses here and the housings here, Gene Wingfield baked in his Canoga Park apartment when he's living in Canoga Park.
Wow.
And
an apartment build.
Yep. And
so he's had a shop in the chicken coop and he's had a shop in the apartment.
Yep.
That man is something else, right?
Right. And then Dick Dean did the exhaust treatment on it in the rear there.
Okay.
And
I like that too. That's
yep.
a good look for it.
Right. And then the front fenders were radius because that's where we channeled it and chopped it and did a little section job. We wanted the radius in the front to match the back. The back, this is stock Studebaker here.
Yeah.
And then you see it fade out.
Yep.
So in the front, when we did the flares, we made it fade out and then fade in.
Yep.
So the flares would evenly match.
Wow.
And it's like the peaks in here. When we peaked it here, we brought it and at the peak ends and then goes and then creates up in the front.
Oh, show me that front. Let's look at that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, carried it up into there. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then we took a lot of the Studebakers have the ridge here when they take the emblems off. Well, we found out that was a lot of work too. That was double walled.
Oh,
But we took that out and then we built the mouth here. And the roll pan is actually a Rambler roof because you want a roll pan to be solid where it won't bend or break. So what we did is took a section of Rambler roof, V'd it, turned it upside down as a roll pan.
That's fantastic. And you were saying about the lens covers?
The lens covers was the spare lens covers, the modern Grecian, that Barrisdale. And
they're so beautiful too.
And the bumpers are 56 Cadillacs.
Yep.
But what the difference is on these bumpers is the regular 56 Cadillac bumper, if you look, it goes down here and comes around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
So
what
you
we
trimmed
did,
it down.
and usually when you see them on other cars, that's how they put them on. Well, we cut it and trimmed it to make it like it belongs there.
Yeah.
Instead of having the piece hang down and come around.
Yeah.
And then the grill is a 53 Chevy.
With a little extra teeth in it.
Yeah, with extra teeth in it. And of course, we rounded the horn corners and shaved the door handles. And the truck is not on airbags, air shocks, or hydraulics.
It's
the way
static.
you see it is the way we drive it.
On the ground, static, no expert help with airbags or other stuff. No juice, no air. And Pete Dean is the guy that finished it, huh? Or helped you finish it.
Yeah. The back here at the fins, go back in the back end. Oh, the other thing about this truck, if you notice a regular Studebaker, the fender's in here and come up here. And what we did is we shortened the truck to bring the fenders closer to the bed. And then we made up the length in the back. The other thing we did was took out the belt line.
No belt line on
Yeah, where this come up, it come up like this, went across there, and you had the ridges going across there. So we filled that in.
Wow.
So it will have the smooth look there.
Yeah.
And then this is 20 gauge metal, and then 200 pounds of lead.
200 pounds.
Yeah, that's what Uncle Bill says he put in there, Mr. Hines.
So that was Bill Hines who did the lead?
Yeah, yeah. And
So
Bill Hines.
Do you know how many historical customizers has helped you with this?
Well, Dick Dean, Bill Hines, Larry Watson did the formula on the paint.
Yeah.
He calls it. He goes, I want more lime than gold in it, and he called it a fierce lime gold.
Wow.
And Larry was originally going to paint the truck, but unfortunately, a week before the truck was painted, he passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So we took his formula. Keith Dean took his formula, and Keith Dean created what we believe what Watson would want, because he wanted it this color and this burgundy with scallops on it.
Yeah.
So we try to give it the.
Well, I would say
Watson touch.
that is as close as you can get to Watson doing it himself, huh?
Yeah. And then one of the things I did on this truck I thought was cool, but nobody ever noticed it, so I go, okay, so much for that.
Yeah.
Was on the license plates, if you really look at it, you notice it don't sit flush. It sticks out.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, okay, I got a floating license plate, but nobody ever pays attention to that. Oh, well, what the heck.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes.
That's the way it goes. But, and then of course, we did the mold of the roll pan underneath for it.
Oh, yeah.
But it had to be flatter than the front one.
Yep.
That's because of how it sits. But how you see it sits,
that's how you drive it. I mean, you remember when you came back from Custom Car Revival? You had a little oofta.
Yeah. When I was going back to Custom Car Revival, I broke a leaf spring.
Yep.
So the truck was leaning.
Yeah.
And I hit a plate in the road about like that, and we damaged the door. And then
But Keith Dean did his magic and fixed it again.
Yeah. Keith Dean took care of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's the thing. You drive it, you hurt it, you fix it.
Yep.
And then you drive it again.
Yep. Drive it again.
Yeah.
So
my hat's off to you.
Yep.
That's one of the reasons why we wanted to give you this award too. And this is the first one. This is the first Customikes Choice Award. It's the first bronze one that O'Brien sent us.
Wow.
And it means a lot to us. And that's why I wanted you to have it. You've always been around with us. And everywhere I go, I see you. And when I was running around like a little brat kid with my mini Merc, you were always there, you were always building, somebody was always doing something to it, but you never gave up.
Right.
And here we are 30, 40 years later, and when you look at it, I am proud to choose you.
Probably
as
every time I
choice.
come in the show, Mike goes, what did he do to this thing now?
Yeah.
Because it changed a little bit going through the years.
Yeah.
But we try to do it period and do it the way that everything fits.
Yeah.
These days, a lot of times customs are built and they just throw whatever on it.
Yeah.
And it really don't work. But the way you want to do, you want to make a custom work. If it's wild or mild, you want it to work.
So how did you come up with the name?
Well, that was the easy part.
Okay.
I went over to Keith Dean's shop one day and walked in. He says, "Your truck's named Atomitron."
Really?
So Keith Dean named the truck, but where it came from was from the Orbitron, Big Daddy Ross car.
Yeah.
And that was the inspirer of us calling it an Atomitron. The drip rails here, and because it's smooth. Originally, it was smooth here, and I didn't like that.
I like it when you make a.
And I want to give a little treatment. So basically, this is just welding rod.
Yeah.
They give it a little treatment there.
Yep. Gives a feature to it.
Yeah, right.
And it frames it, and it looks so much better.
Right.
It's absolutely beautiful. So.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun. And I enjoyed it. And what's cool about it is driving it and taking it places. Who knows, that little kid right there, might be the next Customike or George Barris or Bill Hines.
Yep, you never know.
You never know.
Yep.
And if it's in a garage and undercover, and then and people don't see it, you can't inspire anybody.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about doing stuff like this is you inspire people that might not have a car and might not have done anything to the car for a long time, get them in gear to do something to the car.
Yeah.
And I had a friend of mine call me, says, you're going to be mad at me. I channeled my truck the same as yours. I chopped it the same as yours. I said, so? What's the big deal? I said, I'm not the first one to chop a car. I'm not the first one to channel a car. Yeah. We're all inspired by somebody else. Yeah. It's an honor that somebody takes something that you did and apply it to their application. Yeah. And my fins are a testimony to that. Yeah. If you really look at the fins, they resemble a car called the Madame Fifi from Washington, a 56 Chevy. Yep. And a lot of people say, oh, that Bill Hines inspired you to do the fins, but it was the Madame Fifi. Yep. And the way they tip out, it was from the Madame Fifi car. Wow. So there I go. I took an idea from another old Custom and applied it to my truck. Yep. And you made it yours. That's what's cool about it. Yeah. Everybody inspires everybody. Yep. And that's the fun of it.
Yeah. Would you grab the piece?
Oh, I will do that.
Please. It is a very emotional journey for me, and I'm so grateful to have.
And this is such an honor. Wow. It's so beautiful.
It is an honor for me too, John. And I just want to say thank you for always being an inspiration to me and those beyond us.
Wow.
It's congratulations.
It's a great honor.
It's an honor for me. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, and thank you everybody. Wow.
And thank you everybody that helped on this build. Yep. Yep. And made it what it is today. And has been on the journey, whether they're with us or not. They're with you in spirit on this car. Yep. So, thank you again. This is Customikes from the Grand National Roadster Show 2023 in Pomona, California with John Saltsman, the major tranny guy, the best guy around when it comes to it. He knows it all. Thank you, John. See ya.